Well, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jason Levine, and thank you so much for joining me today on the Friday Masterclass, where we're picking up where we left off last week, where we were doing some live recording. Today we're going to focus largely on working in the multitrack and waveform views, and focusing on some of the differences and advantages of working non-destructively when editing audio versus destructively. And while in almost all scenarios, there's usually a reason where you may do one or the other, or most of the time both. I'm someone who typically does a lot of the latter. I tend to edit a lot of stuff destructively, but sometimes it's really nice to have that non-destructive angle. And fortunately, the multitrack, along with its auto crossfading, makes it super easy to do that. So we're going to cover that and finesse some of the tensions that were added in the single take performances from last week. You know, you get one take, you get what you get, and it was pretty much all there. A couple places where we can fix some things, and we're going to fix things by borrowing from other parts of the composition, so you'll see how that works. As always, we're coming to you live across Adobe Live, Behance, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, so thank you so much for joining in. Want to remind everybody watching on some of the alternate networks that I will be following the chat over at b.net/Adobe Live, so that's the live one that I'm reading right in front of me, although I can see all of the other chats actually now because of some changes that I made to streaming. So, I see Tun is leaving us. Oh, sorry to see you go. Well, you'll be able to catch the replay later. What's up, Pierre Julien and Brian and Abu and Steph S and Donald Ping? Nice to see you. Rick Adams from Toronto, Balaretti, Anna Peretti, Slayman, Reverb Mike, Jason O'Grady, great to see you. Cody Bear, as always, thank you so much. Steve and Wade and Robert and Umacorn and Marcia. Lovely to see you all. What's up, Warren from Hollywood, California? All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to dive right in and let's get editing. He said. Okay. Thanks, everybody. All right, very nice. All right, Tune, you take care. We'll see you soon. Okay. So I've done a little bit of work on the multitrack since last week, not an enormous amount. Largely just labeling things via markers. And if you take a look over at the markers panel here, effectively all I did was break everything down into the various parts. So, oh, whoops, went a little too far there. So we have the intro, 2 verses, a bridge, a chorus, 2 verses, a bridge, a chorus, a refrain, a screaming refrain, and then our end coda. Now, when I recorded this, while I played this live, and someone mentioned this last week, actually I think they mentioned it in one of the chats, why didn't I talk about using the metronome? So Audition does in fact have a metronome that you can enable, and this will allow you to record to a click as you're tracking your things live. Now again, we don't support MIDI, we don't support VS virtual instruments, we don't support any kind of sort of retiming based on MIDI musical instrument data. So this is really just a live, it's a live real-time metronome and you're playing to it. And if your time is off, well, too bad. Take it again. I had actually made a little click of my own drum performance down here that I just gave myself what's known as 2 bars outside. Okay, but the same thing could have been achieved just by playing the actual metronome. So just to kind of showcase this here, and we're going to turn this on or off a couple times throughout today. If you go ahead and toggle the metronome here, you'll see that this song was in fact, I may have mentioned this last week, 119 BPM. 120 is kind of a standard, and I did base this off of the commercial recordings. So they actually recorded it at 119, which I like. I like just because it's not 120. In fact, I had a friend years ago, he had a website, I think it was called 59 BPM or something like that. 59 is like a resting heart rate. Mine is about 59. Or even lower at times. But he was this whole thing like 60, no, 59, yes. So I don't know. It's just if you're nerdy like that, it's kind of fun. Anyway, the metronome, of course, has various properties that you can also alter and modify. So while I'm here, let me just go ahead and pull up the properties panel. And in the properties panel, you will see that there is a metronome dropdown. Really, what you can do is you can customize the pattern. All right, so you can see here, downbeat, subdivision, upbeat. So Ba, ba. That's what that represents right there. You can change the accent pattern, which again, based on your time signature, can be useful. You can also choose from a series of different sounds. I want to point out that these are like African percussion, Latin percussion, beeps, tabla. I made these metronome sounds in Cool Edit. That's how long this has been in there. And they sound fine. You know, it's just standard stuff. So just by enabling that, let's take a listen to this. That's it. Real simple. Okay. Okay. Cornell's asking, which studio headset could you recommend? Well, you know, I'm a big fan of these right here. These are the Sony 7506 MDR. Michael David Rami, MDR 7506. They're a studio standard, an industry standard. They're not very expensive. I think they're around $99 US, and they're wonderful. They're, you know, they have a slight coloration to them. All headphones do. They are flatter than, say, something like Beats, which really accentuate bass. And, you know, while I never recommend mixing in headphones for the most part, if you're mixing with something that has accentuated bass, you know, the Bose headphones do too, especially if you're using noise canceling. Unless you really, well, one, unless you're very good at engineering, and two, if you understand that what you're hearing is not representative of what others will hear, I'd say stay away from things like that that add any kind of equalization. You want effectively your headphones to be as flat as possible. And as I've shown here on the stream some time ago, there is a fantastic plugin by Waves, which is this one here. I'm not gonna fire this up right now, but it's maybe towards the end. But it's a plugin specifically for mixing with headphones that will mimic different types of speakers. So it's using AI to simulate, one, to flatten out your headphones, but two, to replicate what it would sound like if you were listening in a room with a specific kind of speaker based on the headphones that you have. And there's a whole series of preset headphones, this model being one of them. And it's really great. And it'll even track your head movement using the camera. So as you turn, the sound changes. It's a very effective way if you have to mix in headphones. So maybe at the end, I'll showcase a little bit of that. All right. So what we're going to do is, if you recall last week, this was a live one-take performance. I think I did 2 takes of the bass because one we did with a pick and one without. I prefer the picked version. So that's what we're focusing on here. But the piano and the bass each had a couple of little flubs. So we're going to try and fix those flubs rather than overdubbing new parts, which I could do, but instead let's use editing to do that. Now you might say, well, why would you take a performance from some other part of the song? Well, 1, why not? 2, this is commonly done. 3, super easy. And 4, using non-destructive crossfades, it's just gonna sound seamless. And again, once you've got all the music playing and everything over top and vocals and everything else, it really doesn't matter. And no one's gonna go, oh, I heard that little piano trill already. You know, and if they do, right? Not a big deal. Anyway, the idea here is that this will give you an idea and this concept of kind of non-destructive editing and borrowing from other parts of a performance to make things work. A lot of times you can't re-overdub. A lot of times you have what you have, so you have to work with the stuff in front of you. So that's what we're going to do today. All right, so let's go ahead and listen. I think I need to actually tackle the piano first. So because the bass has flubs, we're just gonna listen to piano and drums for a moment here. I'm gonna move this track up here. This may be a little boring for you, but we're gonna get to see kind of what this sounds like. I'm gonna keep the metronome on just for a little bit to hear kind of how the tempo is. It's pretty tight. Again, I played the drums to that click anyway. So they're looking and sounding pretty good. Let's take a listen to what we got. And incidentally, I think I had this last week. The only thing that we've got on the piano, we've got this Waves LA2A compressor. I don't love this. It's the old Kurzweil piano sound. Not a huge fan of this, but it is what it is. I was actually going to overdub live grand piano during the week and just didn't get around to it. So we'll deal with this in the meantime. Okay, here we go. Intro good. Okay, verse 1 good. Verse 2 good. Okay, nah. Nope. Okay, barf. No. Ugh. I mean, what? I think I had a moment there where I forgot what song I was playing. What? A major where it should be minor, a minor where it should be major. It's all over the place. Lorianne, you're very kind. Very nice to see you. Thank you so much. All right. Umacorn. Okay. So bridge 1 needs to be fixed. Now I've got about 3 or 4 little bits in there that are not great. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at or listen to the other bridge. Now, hopefully I didn't mess that one up. Hopefully it's pretty consistent. Now the nice thing is the bridge repeats twice. And again, this is where having the markers helps because these are all snapped to the grid, snapped to the timeline, all right? What do I mean by that? Well, you'll notice up at the top here that instead of typically showcasing hours, minutes, seconds, which is what I generally work in, or again, if you're kind of working against video, you'll have SMPTE timecode. We're actually working in bars and beats. Now again, I don't want to confuse anyone. Audition does not theoretically understand bars and beats as, say, Logic does, or Reason, or Pro Tools for that matter. What else am I thinking of? What other app can I not think of at the moment? All of them, basically. All right. But the timeline still allows you to snap to the grid to bars and beats. So even though this is a live human performance, which means I might be slightly in and out of time a little bit, that's okay. This is where crossfading comes in. Follow me, watch this, very cool. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to just select the bridge of this piano section here, all right? I want to make sure that I'm selecting exactly those 16 bars, and you can see I am, all right? So this is exactly the duration that we're trying to repair here. Nothing is boring here, seriously. Well, thank you. All right, so once I've done that, now I'm gonna just simply right-click, control-click on this clip, and I'm going to choose Split, okay? Which is non-destructively just going to place a cut at the beginning and the end of that selection, all right? Now, in the process of that, what I typically like to do, I usually like to have sort of an empty track right below so I can drop and drag things in. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna switch to my Move tool, shortcut key V, same in essentially all the Adobe apps. And I'm just gonna move this down here, all right? Now I don't have to worry about timing. I know where it goes. If I wanted to make sure that never moved in time, or I don't wanna forget whatever, I can also right click and I can choose to lock in time, all right? And then no matter what I do, I can only move it up or down, i.e. across other tracks, but it will always be at, it'll always start at bar 23 and end at bar 39. So lock in time will prevent you from moving it laterally left to right. We don't need that here, all right? So now we've created this little hole, right? Okay, so now let's go to bridge number 2, which by the way, I can also just double click inside the markers panel. And let's listen to this, all right? And I'm hoping, one might say, did you not listen to this before going live? No, absolutely not. I'm totally sure that I got it right and didn't screw it up the second time. Let's see. right. Success. Good. So what are we going to do? Same thing. All right, click here. Split. All right. Now, in this case, I don't want to pull this one out. I want to duplicate it because we're going to stick that same bridge in that hole over there. So I'm going to hold down my Option or Alt key on Windows, and I'm simply going to drag this little bit over and snap it into place, just like that. And it does, in fact, snap right into place because it's the exact same duration, right? 16 bars marked with markers over here, 16 bars marked with markers over here. Now, zoom in a little bit. Okay. Now, without doing anything, right, we have a piano, which probably has some sustain pedal and other things happening, and now I just inserted this other little bit here, and then I have the other piano at the end. Now, if you were to do this destructively, giving you a little lesson here, by default, and you can see this under Preferences, I think it's under Data. By default, if you cut and paste something into a space or over top of something else, Audition will automatically add a 2 millisecond crossfade at the delete cut boundaries, okay? And smoothing all edit boundaries by crossfading. So it understands this when you do that destructively. But when you do it non-destructively, there's no such smoothing. Can I talk? There's no such smoothing. So this is where using the non-destructive crossfades here on the clip help. So let me show you what I mean. So without any smoothing, without any crossfading, just listen to the join when these two pieces come together. You're probably going to hear, it's probably going to just sound a little odd. Maybe you won't hear a click, but it'll just sound abrupt. Take a listen. Oh wait, sorry, I have to deselect it. Apologies for that. Move back here. There we go. Zoom back in and play. Okay, so you can hear a right. Okay, so we want to get rid of that. Okay, here's how we do it. Now, just because I cut out this section, right? The section itself is in time. We just want to drag, but it needs a little bit of what came before it, and we want to crossfade it with what came after it. So I'm simply going to drag the edge of the clip, and do you see what's happening here? It's automatically applying a little crossfade between the takes for me. Now I can zoom in here, and I can use these handles to adjust the crossfade itself, all right? Or how much crossfade is actually applied. Frankly, we don't need much because it's the same spot, right? So let's go ahead and wind back a bit and play this now. Click, gone. Beautiful. Indistinguishable. No one would ever know. All right, let's go to the end of this bit here. And same thing here, probably going to be, and you can even see, right? I had a little chord anticipation here, using a jazz phrase here from my Berkeley days. I'm anticipating the downbeat. The downbeat fell properly here, but I anticipated it here, which means that I need to kind of drag this one over. If we just play it back, again, you're hearing that thud clip. Not good. Let's go ahead and drag this over like that. And maybe we'll do a slightly more sinusoidal fade here. Okay, and I didn't love that because again, I'm anticipating a little bit. So maybe we'll make this a little bit longer. Drag this over. Let's see. Just want to see where the blend sounds good. Nice. Maybe we can give it a little bit more. Cool. Zoom out. Bring everything back in. Welcome. Welcome to your first non-destructive edit borrowing from another piece, sticking it right in there. Let's keep on listening. We're making progress. All right, that one little chord right there, it's a little off, but we'll let it slide. I'm gonna do double speed. I'll hear if I'm playing the wrong key, so here we go. Listen to the tambourine. Okay, done. Just like that. As it turns out, I guess most of all the mistakes I made were in the bridge, curiously. So the rest of that sounds good. Okay. Double speed for the win. I'm going to dance now. I can watch the stream all day long. Ah, you're very kind. So, you know, and it's funny, I'll do that often again because I'm just listening for, right, major, minor thirds, which you can hear at any speed. As I'm doing that, I'm thinking, oh, my 9-year-old be like, oh, it's like, it feels like Undertale or a lot of the music, you know, suddenly kind of has, not that it sounds 8-bit, but it kind of has that game vibe to it. Just double speed everything, you know? Okay, so now the piano is sounding pretty good. And now we can audition this against the bass, all right? Now the bass, I think I have a challenge here because I think I messed up. I can even see it visually. It looks like in both choruses, in almost the same spot, I forgot what I was doing. So we have a couple of options here. I can either borrow from the non-picked version, assuming that is okay, or I can borrow from some other part of the song where the chords do repeat, all right? So once again, this is a little bit of, we're going through, we're listening here. But let's see what we got, all right? Here we go. And this is, by the way, there's no effects on this. This is right from the amp. Oh, and while I'm in here, let's do this first. So this is something that I'll typically tackle. Now again, we may be fixing some of these issues, so I don't necessarily need to correct them. But overall, this waveform looks nice and healthy. You'll recall I told you that I was miking this with a condenser microphone in a figure-8 pattern to simulate a technique that they used at Abbey Road on Paul McCartney's bass for a couple of the later 60s albums. I think in Sgt. Pepper, maybe once or twice. I'm pretty sure they did this a few times on Abbey Road. Where you're getting kind of direct sound from the amp, but on the other side of the mic, I was getting the reflection off of the wall, right? So it has this really, it sounds very picked, but it's a bigger, warmer, livelier sound. It's kind of lower amplitude. You're probably not getting the vibe of it there. But as you can see here, getting a little clipping down there. Now this doesn't look too extreme. For a really quick fix, I would usually highlight that attack transient, use this little on-clip volume tool, and just drag this in. Again, it's a super short attack transient, so I'm not really worried about if I'm losing any of the detail there. I'm just bringing down the amplitude. And it sounds nice. Oh, it's such a good, dirty, ugh, I love that. All right, sounds like we're making some metal. And there were two more right over here. That's me cursing in the background, if you could hear that. All right, and we're gonna fix these anyway, but I'm just gonna, just so that I don't have to see things clipping, we're just gonna destructively save those changes. So again, we just made destructive changes. I saved it, I didn't make a new copy, nothing like that. And you might say, well, why? You know, well, one, I'm fixing it. Two, I'm confident in the fix. Can you make another version? Absolutely. Can you save as and create an alternate? Yes. I actually did one of these because I merged some takes together. I mean, I moved some things around just to tighten up the timing a little bit. So it just created a new copy. But in general, if you're going to do destructive, you can always duplicate. You can always save another version. It just depends how much time you have, right? A lot of times, if it's something like that, fixing something that's distorted, I don't need the distorted version as an alternate. I can fix the distortion. Okay, so let's listen to this performance and see how it stacks up. Yes, the sound of that sunburst Ricky bass, indeed. I was just saying to my my older son, I'm like, yeah, this thing is, I've had this thing for 32 years, and it's still raw. It's still my favorite instrument that I have. I remember the day I got it. Ooh. It's a good day. I wish I had all the other basses I used to have. I don't. All right, here we go. Now see right there, I just went, you know, remember I was trying to hold back. So I never play dun 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 dun. I really don't. It's not that I just can't help myself, but I just can't help myself. But that's how it was kind of written. I mean, hearing the original song, that's how it was done. So I was trying to kind of do that. Again, a little on top of the beat there. Not super in the pocket, but that's okay. We're going to leave it. So we got a couple things in here. So the first half of this is pretty good. So I can essentially duplicate because it repeats the exact same pattern. Now what doesn't repeat, unfortunately, it's good, are the last two bars of this whole little section here where there's a stop time, right? So I think we can just borrow from the first half and just kind of lay it in there. I think that'll work nicely. So let's find out where we need to be here. Oh, sorry. I have a tendency to do that. Ugh, what was I doing? What was I doing? Okay. Now, again, I want to point out here, okay? So here we are right on the bar line. Oh, and I'm not right on the bar line, actually. My selection is not on the bar line. Now it is. It's not over here. There we go. Okay. Whoops, I just deleted something. Hold on, undo. So we are at 8 bars, okay? And you'll see, I mean, to say I'm a human metronome is correct. However, again, my bad note, look at that. A little ahead of the beat right there. That's okay. All right? That's okay. I think we'll be able to salvage that. All right? So we're going to do 2 little edits here. So first, let's go ahead and split this. And I'm going to take the same selection now. It's going to get a little crafty right here. I'm going to snap that to that edge. I have to see if this is going to work. I'm not even sure now that I'm thinking about it. I wonder how that ends. We'll see. Remember, we can even crossfade in the middle. We don't need to use the whole take. We just need to fix the first 4 bars that are bad. But I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to split this. All right? And in fact, let me just listen, because I think the end of this is fine. Yeah, the ending is good. So we just need to fix the beginning. All right, so let's do this. Let's see. We're going to duplicate this. All right. Drag it over. And first, let's do this little join right here. All right, now again, I anticipated, so we need to fix that. So I want to make sure none of that anticipation is in there. So that should take care of it right there. Let's take a listen and see. Okay, and then let's just drag these together. Let's see what I got here. Let's just see. I don't know. See how this sounds. Let's keep going. That's nice. That's a very that's a little McCartney lick right there. Maybe even a little John Entwistle-y. that one, I just got too excited there and just I wasn't in it. It doesn't, I don't hate it, but all right. So here's what we're gonna do. I want a nice solid, I just want that nice B flat. So I'm just gonna snip this note right here. Can you guess what I'm going to do here? It's snapping to the bar. I just want the full duration of this. All right. Split it. And I'm going to take this little note right here. All right, down there. And let's move this over. I don't know how. Yeah, see, I anticipated it. It might sound weird. I gotta listen to it in time. Ugh. All right, I have an idea. All right, so we're gonna do this. We're going to split this. All right. And I know that I want this B flat to be right there on that downbeat. All right. So I'm going to take this. All right. Now let's. And let's see if I get rid of that little do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Bah. All right. Ha ha! That's what I'm talking about, yo! I mean, come on. Right? If you can see it, you can make it happen. So you see what I just did there? Right? I stole one note from somewhere else, the downbeat, stuck it in time. Do-do-do-do, and I faded out before the do-do-do, because the piano's already doing that. It's masked by the reverb there. Nice fade, you don't even hear it, and it just sounds really lovely. What was I doing? I don't know. I got lost. Okay. So, same thing here. I love what I did at the beginning of this chorus. So I'm just going to duplicate it. We're just going to paste it right in there with those little crossfades, okay? So you're kind of getting the idea by now, I imagine. Just going to make sure that we're selecting exactly 8 bars, which, yeah, and again, I anticipated. See, reverb mics, like, yeah, they're making you wait for it. Yes, jazz anticipation is a little different. All right. And it's weird, it's coming in as 7/3/15. Why is that doing that? Strange. It's strange. Hold on, I'm just making sure that something that the snap is off here. It should be exactly 8 bars. 8 bar. How many bars is it? It's 8 bars. Yeah, that's weird. We're not going to worry about that. Okay, so same thing. We're going to split, and then we're just going to stick it back to where it was. So split, like that. All right. Come over here. Now, because that the end of that is already split, let's come right over here. Let's grab the razor tool. Cut that right there. Let's move this piece out. Now here's an example where, like, all right, I'm going to lock this in time. All right, I'm going to drag this down here like that. And then we're going to take this, Option Alt. All right, snip it right in there. Adjust the crossfade, right? Because again, I anticipated. Now, here's the other thing. I could move the whole thing over, right? But ultimately, that could affect the overall time. And as I'm spot glancing this, like, yeah, it's a little on top of the beat. It's a little ahead, but it's driving. So that's okay. We'll take a listen. We'll hear what it sounds like. All right. We'll listen to the transition here. Perfect. Did I just lose a note there? I did. All right, so if I'm getting really fanatical, all right, which I am, same thing. And let's go ahead and just duplicate this. Stick it right there. Yeah, and I'm anticipating even a little too much there. Let's see. Move it up. Okay, don't worry about that little in there. We'll fix that, but I just want the timing to be right here. Yeah, it's a little off. You can see it's not. I mean, I'm speeding up a little here. There we go. Oh, Oh, and there's a bad piano thing at the end there. What the heck is that? Ugh. Oh, no. That's going to be a challenge because I'm playing in a different octave. Let's see. Okay. So same thing. We're going to take this little bit. And you could see why, you know, if, now keep in mind, of course, if I were doing this with MIDI, i.e. live performance, I would just change the notes on screen, right? If I was, I hit C sharp, I meant to hit C, I could just change it right there. This is a recorded performance. There's no way to change that. I mean, I'm playing chords, so that wouldn't work. There are times, and you've probably seen on stream, where I can pitch shift individual notes or groups of notes. It's not going to work here, though. I actually just hit a bunk once. So in this case, we're just going to, once again, split this. And where did it have to go? Right here? Ugh. All right, and we just want 2 bars, approximately. All right, splitting this. A splitting headache after doing this. Okay, and again, now for this, I'm just going to move this out of here. Let's take this piece. Let's snap that in there. And then let's see what we have to do to smooth. Smooth. That makes sense. Let's see if that transition sounds good right there. Okay, and we got to smooth this one. Let's see. Nice. All right, let's take it back. Let me listen one more time. Yeah, I'm just making sure there's no... I think I'm hearing like the ghost of reverb behind me. Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. I'm playing a slightly larger voiced chord, so I'm hearing a doubled octave in the left hand where I wasn't playing, I was playing an octave up previously, so it's okay though. Again, in the context of everything, you wouldn't know. Cornell, there you go. Yes. I can't thank you very much. Thank you, McCorn. It is indeed Billy Idol. It is his latest EP. It's called the song is called Bitter Taste. And the EP is called, I think it's called The Roadside. By the roadside. Yeah. Super, super great. And then he has like a couple of other newer songs on there that are very kind of 80s throwbacks if you're into that. It's very cool stuff. Okay. All right. We did it. Pretty sweet, right? So now the performance is complete. It is sound. We don't have any bad notes. Now again, we talked about bad notes last week, right? And I was like, there's no bad notes, only tensions. I made the jazz joke there. Yes, but you know, when you're talking major, now here's a good example. Here's a little audio nerdery for you. Very famous song by T-Rex, Bang a Gong. And many of you, some of you, two of you may know that. Get it on, bang a gong, get it on. Very famously, when Mark Bolan initially recorded the backing track, he said, get it on, bang a gong, get it on. And he's playing open major chords. When they overdubbed, he accidentally played a minor over top of the major, and they left it in there because it was like, there's something, they're playing simultaneously as opposed to playing the wrong thing where everybody else is playing it. It just kind of worked. No bad notes, only tensions. Here, I was busy and I'm, playing little flourishes and I'm playing minor where the bass is clearly playing major or a major third against a minor third in the piano. Two rhythmic instruments playing different notes. It doesn't sound great. But now we got it. It sounds solid. So with that in mind, let's go ahead now and we can take these little piano bits and the little bass bits that I stuck in here out of there. All right. And, oh, no, I don't want to do that. And let's see what else we got. Now, I didn't get a chance to do any overdubs on the vocal or anything. What I did do is, and I'll do this for Cornell, since you were just singing the the bridge and the chorus there. I did add some harmonies in here. Well, one harmony, which it needs more. But if you take a listen, you'll see, and we've only got 3 more minutes. Let's wind this back a little, see what this sounds like. I'm gonna ride this bike to the edge of town, roll to the bridge with my eyes shut and spit at the stars, and scream in the dark. There's nothing I can do to change it now, but if I cut myself open, baby, you can read all my scars. Read all my scars. Hello, goodbye. There's a million ways to die. Should've let me way back, should've let me way back by the roadside. Hello, goodbye. I was staring in the devil's eyes. Should've let me way back, should've let me way back by the roadside. It's a bitter taste, jagged stain. Okay, all right. Umacorn, what did you just say there about Billy? I hung out with Billy Idol when I was an extra on The Doors. Kevin, no way. Dude, you were at that Oliver Stone, 1991. Oh yeah, that was a big deal. Those were good times. 82, yes, Steve. Oh yeah. Yeah, that was where he broke out big time. Right? Eyes Without a Face and Rebel Yell. Right, that was 82. Yeah, he's amazing. He's amazing now. I mean, it's just amazing to see him. It's also a testament to, I mean, you look at him and he's incredibly fit and just ripped, not in a weird way, just like a natural way. And he's shorter, but he's like a big, just solid but cut dude. It's just awesome. And he never lost his voice despite years of periods of abuse, which he talks about pretty openly these days. I don't have time to show you the last thing I was going to do destructively, but largely it was around the scream bits at the end here, because I had like 2 that were good and 2 that were bad. Again, 1 take of screaming. Ask McCartney usually takes about 30. But, and he was great in The Wedding Singer. That was awesome. I know, it was such a good cameo, right? And he'd kind of been out of the scene for a while. That was, 1998? So it was such a welcome, cool thing to see him. So like this second, was really good. Oh! But this was a little flat here. It's a Second scream good.
It's a jagged stain.
Decent vocal production on that. Two bad ones. So what I was going to show you, we're kind of out of time, is again destructively borrowing from the original vocal, which is here, and copy pasting. But we are out of time, friends. So until next time, have a great weekend. Have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Stay tuned for the daily creative challenge for Illustrator, and we will see you again next time. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.